Welcome to The Conscious Tide with Ptolomek the Messenger. This week, our special guest is Xochitl Ashe with Dive into Abundance. Blessings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Conscious Tide. Today, I'm really excited to share with you all one of my most beloved sisters, Xochitl Ashe. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my God, it's such an honor to be here. Your shows are phenomenal, and
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be sharing today with your audience.
Thank you so much. You're what makes it phenomenal. So I really appreciate being able to come out here to Silver Lake and be in your beautiful home and to share space with you and to let all of our viewers know all the magic and beautiful things that you're sharing with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who don't know, Xochitl is a visionary life purpose coach as well as a medicine woman from a long lineage of medicine beings. Is that correct?
Yes. So I was born in Peru and grew up in Mexico, and my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all medicine people. And I actually just came back from a huge trip that I made just to be a student once again of these traditions. I was in Peru for 5 months and studied under some incredible, powerful medicine people, and really learned a lot more about my lineage, the Andean tradition, the medicine from the Incas that has been really like transferred generation after generation. And it's amazing because it could really be, it's so practical and it can really be applied to our everyday life and how we walk in the world and how it can assist us, especially in our everyday issues as we are here in this great awakening and becoming really powerful leaders, because we are so needed right now in the world with everything that's been happening.
Oh, it's very true.
Yeah.
And you were telling me earlier about their whole philosophy as well as their lifestyle based around agriculture, right, and how that plays a part.
Yeah, well, one of the things we talked about that I was really excited to share was talking about prosperity and abundance. And so how that philosophy and spirituality in the Andes of Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, not so much Colombia anymore, but you still find it there, wherever the Inca Empire was, how they were able to spread and with no slavery. And so to understand the Inca spirituality is to understand how they were completely running things in the empire. And they were an agricultural community. They were an agricultural culture. And so everything was revolved around agriculture, even their spirituality. And so what that means is that everything was about connecting to Mother Earth, who they call Pachamama. And it's so important because there's been studies that they were one of the only cultures that never suffered hunger, and they never suffered poverty. So they were able to feed thousands of people and partake in this incredible abundance. And so how is that applied to our lives now? Like, how do we thrive in this environment where one of the things that I really wanted to talk about also is that I've noticed that in our community there's so many brilliant people, like just incredibly talented, right? Like incredibly talented musicians, healers, coaches, everything. Yeah. Just like, our community of people that are really here in this awakening as leaders. And I meet people, and one of the things that is constant that has been a concern for me is that there's a lot of lack. And a lot of people, living paycheck to paycheck or not doing what they love, but taking on some other job and then trying to do what they love, and not quite understanding how to make money from what they love, and just being in that lack of not having enough. and struggle. And so I really wanted to address that because in order for us to really be powerful leaders, especially now when it's needed, like
more than ever, yeah.
That's why we're born. We were born in this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that a lot. So here it is. The time is now, and how do we become these powerful leaders when we're sick because we, are not eating the right foods, because we don't have money to buy organic, yummy, delicious, fruits and vegetables, or the superfoods, or those things are expensive. And so how do we explore and share our brilliance and be supported by the universe, be supported by Pachamama, Mother Earth, to live our mission? So that's really what I've been focusing on. And I really feel like it's powerful work. Seeing people really align themselves with this energy of abundance and prosperity, and really connecting to the energy of Pachamama, to Mother Earth, and working with her, and understanding that at this moment, the monetary system is not going to change for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows how long,
Yeah.
I mean, we all hope that it will.
I think we all thought years ago, or it would have already changed by now, but
Exactly.
It hasn't. And I think a lot of things haven't changed in the way that perhaps many people had predicted it, and even a lot of people in the community. I know I was one of them who thought that things would be a lot different now by 2017 going into 2018. But they're not, and that's okay, and we have to surrender to that, and also realize okay, we have even more chance now, more accountability, responsibility to step up to that platform and be those beings that we know we're meant to be. And so it continues as we grow and expand.
Yeah, and so here's the monetary system that we live in now, and so how do we flow with that system if we have some, or not some, but maybe a lot of negativity around it, because we know that it's been used to put profit before people. And so, but that's what it is, the monetary system is here, and can we start working with it so that we can use, it's an energy, right? Like money is energy, like everything in life is energy. And that's one of the things that was really clear to me in studying the Andean tradition, is that we live, this realm is called Caipacha. And Caipacha is the realm of energy, where everything is alive. So imagine if you woke up and your belief of being on this earth is that everything was alive, from the table to the rug, to every single animal, to every single tree. Everything is alive, and because everything is alive, there are chances to interact with it in what we call Aini. And Aini in Quechua means, it's the word itself has different interpretations, but it all comes to the same thing, which is reciprocal exchange. It is giving and receiving. And so it's the belief that we must live in a circulation of energy with everything, giving and receiving, and knowing that when we give, we're going to get a lot more back, and that we must receive as well. Because I know that we've talked about this too, how a lot of us in the community are huge givers. We're here, have this, have that, I'll do that for you. We're just always in the energy of giving. And that's so beautiful and honorable and magical. But there's that part that's been lacking of receiving. Sometimes we feel, I know that I've gone through that, and I have to even now check myself to just be in a state of receiving. That sometimes people are here to give you, and that you're giving them a gift by accepting whatever they want to give you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and also that you may be being of service by, assisting in whatever indirect way of, playing that part for them in their story, in their life path. That's a big one, because a lot of us, there's in Japanese they call it enyo, it's you need to no, it's okay, and there is an art in receiving. I mean, I even have a song called We Need to Receive. And there was a time when
Hey, I think you should put it on the
right.
On this,
Hey, we should. There was a time when I was having a hard time receiving, and my friend was like, "Dude, you made the song. You receive right now." And I was like, "Oh, you're right. Okay, I receive." So yeah, it's real work, and how funny it is to be in that space of learning how to receive something which should come naturally, And how do you feel that all of that plays into abundance, and how I know you work with people with helping them find their abundance and everything. How does that all work out?
Yeah, well, I believe that our lives, for us to eat on a table, like have this beautiful, gorgeous meal and feast, right? Like your table has to have all four legs that are solid. Otherwise, you can want this incredible meal and you have a table that only has two legs. And as much as you will want to put on that table, you will want to put this incredible fruit, you'll want to put this incredible vegan raw desserts, or whatever, rocks your boat. If your table doesn't have four legs that are solid and stable, all of those blessings are just gonna they're just gonna drop on the floor.
Yeah.
And so the work that I do is really about how do we get your table, how do we get your foundation really strong. We look at what's your family history, what's your blueprint with money. We talk about money because there's magic in money, and if it's an energy, that means that we can use it for our own good and for the good of our community. And I had a teacher, and he said to me, you cannot heal the sick by being sick, and you cannot help the poor by becoming poor yourself. And I felt that I had a lot of that attitude in the past, where I was like, my community is really lacking, and it's almost like this vibe of the starving artist. It's almost like we've learned it's cool to be a starving artist.
You're not legit unless you
if you're
are
starving.
in that space. Yeah,
exactly.
If you're not half letting go of everything and barely hanging on to attachment to the ego, to the 3D self by a thread, then you're not doing it right, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's that, right? And then there's also another thing that I've experienced as a woman of color in my communities of color, which is like you're not really down if you're not in the struggle. So it's you gotta be in the struggle. If you're not in the struggle, then you're not part of the community.
Yeah, you can't relate and everything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I believe, I am part of the community, and I actually want my beautiful community to rise up and not be in the struggle. I don't want anything to do with struggle. I'm not afraid of hard work. And I'll talk about that, hard work is important, and because hard work is basically a condensed form of you using your energy, right? And so hard work is something we definitely have to take on. But to struggle, that's something I really feel like we can be ready to let go of the struggle, right? Yeah. There's so many things. We could be here for 5 hours talking about this.
It's true.
I do want, your audience to really get value from this, because whenever I watch a video or listen to an interview, what I really am looking for is value. What am I going to get if I listen to this 30, 45 minute interview? I do believe that, of course, our presence itself is a lot of value because we are here and we're committed to sharing our gifts. But how can somebody leave this conversation with value? So, because that's my mission during this conversation, I want to offer your audience an invitation to come to a 21-day program that I do that's called Dive Into Abundance. So I know that you've been a part of it, and maybe you can talk a little bit about it, and
sure.
And I'll share more about it. But this is something really also important, because after you talk about it, I'm not selling anything, which is really important.
Yeah.
And not that selling is bad. Actually, selling is incredible, and we should all learn how to sell our gifts to our community, right? Because that's the exchange of energy. But this is really about, I've created a program where you have no excuses. The seat is already paid for by the past participants. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So if you're interested, stay put. Your seat, your participation has already been paid for by the past participants. Abundance is already yours.
Yeah, so to put it briefly, something that I feel like I, as well as a lot of other beings, struggle from, especially from the conscious community, from being a healer, conscious business person, whatever it may be. Some of us have a very easy time asking for money or finding value to what we do, and then asking that when in the goodness of our hearts we just want whoever needs it to have it, whatever the case may be, which could be at our detriment, which also doesn't really make good business, and puts us in a space of lack and anti-abundance. And one of the things that really helped me through doing this workshop it's actually a series, it's not really one workshop, but this work is to really find strength in knowing my own worth and knowing what I bring, and also feeling a connection between how that will support me throughout my life path in doing much greater things. So I highly suggest it, I super highly suggest it, and as Xochitl will let you know, as she's talking about your seat has already been paid for, we're talking about paying it forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so I really wanted to create, I do have other programs where they do have a price tag, and it's, it's very specific. But I really felt called, because it was such an issue that I've been observing in our community of lack, to offer something that was available for everyone, no matter your financial situation. And that sometimes I find in me or in you or all of us at some point or another, we create that as an excuse, like, oh no, I can't do that because I don't have the money. And while not having the money is like completely understandable, sometimes that's what makes us not take on the next step that would really allow us to actually be in prosperity and abundance. So I wanted to create something where there's no excuses. Like, if you want to join, you join and you commit to it, and it's a practice. It's a practice of 21 days, and it requires waking up early. So we meet at 6:30 in the morning and Pacific Standard Time. So for the New York people, some of them, or people on the East Coast, I've had even people in Brazil. It's been really international. If they can't join that early in the morning, they'll get the recordings, and then they get to listen to them in their own like specific morning time. But this is really all about like having a practice to call in abundance, to call in prosperity, and also giving you some definite challenges to look at and explore within yourself that will help you understand how to better connect to this flow. Because really, I've been, as an example, I just got back from 6 months of traveling in South America, and I've been able to do this and live abundantly. And so all of these tools and techniques and practices, while they are spiritual, there's also very tangible, practical things to do. They work. And I'm living proof. And I really believe that as a teacher and as a coach, like, I always have to do the things first and make sure that they work, so that later on I can teach them and share them. So it's an incredible program, and I invite you all. And Sean was talking about Pay It Forward. I was so excited to be on the show, because usually people ask me about this program and I talk about it. I'm like, yeah, dive into abundance, so it's so great, blah, blah, blah. But I don't get to talk about the Pay It Forward and what that means. And why I created this program to be Pay It Forward, and this program will forever be Pay It Forward because I feel like that's my contribution, and I always want to have this specific program be Pay It Forward. So the way that it works is that your seat has already been paid for by our past participants of Dive Into Abundance. And so when you come in, you're already in the abundance. Like somebody thought about you and thought about you becoming abundant and you living in this prosperity. And ultimately what that means is that you becoming aligned to getting all the assistance from the universe to make your dreams come true. So somebody thought about you and they paid it forward so you could participate. So when you come in, you are now given the opportunity to be in giving, because you already got the opportunity. You get to receive and now you get to give. Like the next program, will you pay for somebody else's seat, or you can offer whatever contribution you can. And that has created, just from the beginning of the program, that creates this incredible energy of community, of family, and that we're in it together. We're in it together and we're ready. We're all ready to, in like conscious spiritual terms, like we're all ready to like go to the fourth dimension, right? Like we all already like done with playing the third dimensional game of money, where it's like the economy, we're struggling, like we're ready to like be solid in our prosperity so that we could be even more generous and really do what we love and travel the world or whatever your dream is. So yeah, I invite you to come join. It's going to be really magical. And if you go to the website, you'll find out all the dates and everything.
And what are these websites?
Well, if you want to come visit my website and the work that I do, just my coaching and ceremonies, and other offerings, it's xochitlashe.com. And so I'm sure we'll have it written down somewhere. Yeah. And for Dive Into Abundance, which is the program that I've been talking about, is diveintoabundance.com. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. Did we share anything else that we need to? Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Was there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Yes. I would really love to talk about, or just as a reminder to your audience, and as a gift to our community, I just really want to talk about how important it is at this time in our world to fully connect ourselves to Mother Earth, to Pachamama, because everything that's happening, it's really here to awaken us to that deeper connection to her. If we are in lack in any way, or even in fear, because I know that lack brings fear, and lack is so deep, because if you really want to like go down that rabbit hole of lack, you'll find that every war is really fought because there's lack mentality. There's never lack. There's lack mentality. There's people thinking there's not enough, so that I'm going to get from you what I need. There's people thinking there's not enough, so then there's greed in the world, and I'm just going to take on all these resources and not be conscious of what I'm doing to the earth. Whenever we are in lack, we feel like we're not enough. That's like on the the macro, right? Is like how we're affecting Mother Earth. The micro is like how do we affect ourselves. So whenever we're in lack, then we are in the belief that we're not enough. And when we're not enough, then it's really hard to put our work out there. So as a reminder is, as you take time to connect to Pachamama, meaning like acknowledging that she and everything else is alive. And every time you walk by a tree, you walk by a flower, you recognize like thank you Pachamama that you are holding me. Like even from the time we awaken, we are stepping on her and she is supporting us. And just that little prayer of acknowledging, like, thank you for supporting me. Well, it's like a tornado of blessings. Like all of a sudden, it's like she's like, oh wow, I'm getting acknowledged. Like it's like a beautiful girl. You know, when you tell her she's beautiful, she just like lights up a little bit more, right? Like I don't know if you saw it on Facebook. This photographer, she would take pictures of people, like the before and after, and she would take pictures of people like before, just, hey, how are you? Let me take a picture. And then she would tell them that how beautiful they were. And it was crazy. Like,
that's so sweet.
Their faces, like some of the people, like they really, like they changed. Like they were like gorgeous supermodels just from hearing how beautiful they were. And so I feel like Pachamama is the same way. Just like if you just acknowledge her with just a simple act of waking up and being like, thank you for supporting me today on my path. Like she will want to support you. She like, you are her favorite child. Like we are Pachamama's favorite children. She wants to support us, and it's such an honor and such a privilege to be supported by her, because once we receive the support, then because it's such a privilege, we want to support her, and it's this beautiful energy of giving and receiving, which is abundance. So right there, just by doing that little thing every day, you'll see how your life starts to transform.
Indeed. Yeah. And I just want to say a little bit more on that too. It's just like coming to that space of gratitude for what we have and feeling abundant right now where we are, so that we can surpass that feeling of lack. And knowing that, you know, even if we are in that pinch, you know, it's either like panic and go into lack and then go into fear, and then there's a whirlwind of disharmony, or you go into a space of, I have exactly what I need right now and good things are coming, and being in that space of gratitude and thankfulness and connecting to Pachamama, to Mother Earth, and being grateful, the blessings roll through, just like Sister said. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
we just hang out anyway, so
Yeah.
now we just get to do it on camera.
I know, like
you guys, so.
this is our regular conversation. We just invited you guys.
You know.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, sister.
Thank you.
And are there any last words that you'd like to share?
Spread this, spread the love. I really appreciate you, brother, for
Appreciate you too.
taking the time. And I mean, this is a lot of work, you guys, to put a video together, upload it on SoundCloud, edit, la la la. You know, it's hard work, like I was saying. It's condensed energy, and you are putting your condensed energy from your heart, and you have a mission. You know, you've always been about awakening people, or about reminding them that they are already awake, and to step into their leadership with how your presence is, and your music, and now this. So if you love this, or if you got any value, please share. That's like such a contribution that you can do, so that this radio can make it big and awaken even more people, right?
And so that more people can go and check out Dive into Abundance as well.
Dive into Abundance.
Everything, you know, we're all here in it together. So yeah. Well, thank you all so much.
Love you.
Love you. Until next time. Yay!
Yay! Edit that. Archaeologists. Okay, never mind. I don't have to get into that. Where were we? Yeah, you were saying the philosophy and